You're ready to be premature all over again.
Wow, that's impressive.
Quick
bro.
reset. Quick reset.
Yeah, that's right. Licking gin balls.
It's just going to be a vicious cycle.
Who knew the job was pro bono?
I was so high that I shit myself at some point.
Okay, get still here. Somebody, everybody mute. Goddamn, you're killing me.
My SEAL Team 6 went to SEAL Team 12.
There's nothing wrong with punching above your weight.
To play with you.
better. Well,
I don't know what's worse. You're a ginger or you've been vaccinated.
You sit around and drink and solve the world's problems, right?
Hey, let's go ahead and unwrap this present
So,
and let the debate begin.
Welcome back to another episode of A Spirited Debate. We're happy to be here. Got the whole crew back. It is Thanksgiving. Ladies and gentlemen, it is hard to believe. Feels like we just did our Halloween episode, and now we are at Thanksgiving. Gonna waste no time. Gonna jump right into today's episode because I'm sure we have a lot to talk about. So, gentlemen, how's everybody doing?
Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Now that is how you introduce yourself. Gobble, gobble, motherfucker. Glad everybody's here. It's always nice when the whole group's here. Just get the family together, spend some time. I'm thankful for you all. So, happy everyone's here. Let's go around the room real quick. We'll get our drinks out of the way and then we'll jump into our topic. Gobble, gobble, motherfucker. You're going to go first.
Mm-hmm.
What are you drinking?
I got my Thanksgiving themed drink.
Ooh, look at
called
you.
Called the Grim Reaper.
Maybe your Thanksgiving and mine are different.
I was going to say, clearly we celebrate.
They're different.
It's rum, Kahlua, and then where it gets its name is if you're supposed to use like grenadine or like dark cherry juice, but honestly, it doesn't really stick to the ice very well. So I've saw somebody say like they could use food coloring that you put on the top of it to make it look like blood. But
Gotcha.
yeah, at the end of the day, it's rum, Kahlua, and a little bit of sweet, cherry juice or something red.
Very Thanksgiving. Very
Mhm.
Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting, and we'll come back to that drink in terms of Thanksgiving. So I appreciate you bringing it to the table because that's
You're
perfect. That's a
welcome.
perfect
You're
segue.
welcome.
Man. Thank you. Big Mac, what about you? What are you drinking for Thanksgiving? Is it just gravy?
It's just straight turkey juice, right? I brined the turkey, threw the turkey away, and just poured the
Just
juice
drinking the
out
brine.
and just drinking that straight.
Man, that's a man that lives life on the edge.
No, we went. Mrs. Mack and I went back and listened to a couple of episodes, and she had heard reference of Haas's love affair with gin that he's kind of been on, and specifically Monkey 47. So we went and found a bottle of that, and I made myself a gin Ricky today, which is really fancy sounding, but it's not really that fancy. It's gin, lime juice, and club soda. Mix it together, pour it over ice, and you can garnish it with a lime wheel. Probably a little more of a summer drink than a Thanksgiving drink, but it's not bad.
And it is
I'm
called
not
it's
sure
called the
that
Ricky.
It's called a gin Ricky.
Gin Ricky. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the Monkey 47, right?
This is the Monkey 47
And
gin.
and how is it?
It's pretty good. I don't know how I feel about gin.
I was about to say, are
general
you a gin
yet.
person?
I'm not typically a gin
Okay.
person, but I have, I have 3 bottles of gin right now in my cabinet. So
You better
I
figure it
figure
out.
at some point I got to figure out something to make with them. So
I'll be right over to help you out with that.
come
Have you
on.
done a gin and tonic? Because
your lawyer says otherwise.
that's true. That's true.
Yes, you do.
Haas swears by the gin and tonic. Have you done a gin and tonic yet?
I have not done a gin and tonic yet.
Okay.
That was something that may come up here in the next couple of weeks.
You have to
Because
say
again, I'm very simple. But I think that's going to be more of a summer drink. I don't know if that's going to be a wintertime drink.
Well, I mean, Haas, you talk about gin, like when it's hot out, gin and a little fan and you're good. What do you do in the winter? Gin and a warm coat?
No, rum, bourbon,
Feels more like a winter drink, doesn't it?
but I still have the oscillating fan going.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
gotta have that
All right.
air circulation.
All right. Well, then you and your oscillating fan, what did you bring to the table to drink today?
A pecan pie martini.
Thanksgiving.
Holy.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Pecan
Okay, 'cause
pie
that
martini.
sounds really good.
What is in your pecan pie martini?
So it's apparently it's cream liqueur, Irish cream liqueur, vanilla vodka, and heavy cream over ice. And then you serve in a pecan and brown sugar rimmed glass.
This is why you work out 6 days a week, fucker, so you can drink that.
That's right.
That sounds like a dessert drink that Haas or that Grinch would bring to the table,
Yeah.
or
I
that,
agree.
that Grinch's
jelly
better
donut.
half would bring to
That's
the
right.
table for him.
That's right.
Very nice. All right. So
Ma, where's my drink?
mommy. I will go last. I also did a Thanksgiving themed drink. And so I did a maple brown sugar old fashioned. And so it is basically an old fashioned, but it is, you use a little bit of maple syrup and brown sugar. I use dark brown sugar, and then make it like an old fashioned, some bitters. I used Elijah Craig's. Oh, no, I didn't. I was going to. I went with the Old Forester, Prohibition, 1920 Prohibition. And then you drop in a cinnamon stick. And I made the base and then just dropped the cinnamon stick in about an hour ago, hoping that maybe that would help. And then it says to add a half ounce of water and then an ice cube. So I did that. And now that is what I'm drinking, is a maple brown sugar old fashioned. So
Beautiful
Now,
color.
Of
Beautiful
course, the most
autumnal colors.
the most important question is: did you tap the tree and make get your own maple syrup?
I did, and I went to Canada because if you go to Vermont, they use formaldehyde to extract, and that's not good. So I actually went to Canada to do it. But yeah, it's a little on the sweet side. Obviously, the maple syrup and the brown sugar do add kind of a bit of sweetness, but that's okay. It's not bad. Yeah, I would do that.
So I feel like I let the whole team down here because I'm the only one that didn't bring a Thanksgiving themed drink
Yeah.
to the table. What the fuck?
Okay, well, we're going to give
Well,
you about
guys-
5 minutes.
Yeah, it's been nice. I guess this will be my farewell episode.
Fancy Ace. I bet Fancy Ace would have
Fancy
brought.
Ace is waiting in the rings, ready
Right?
to go.
Right.
Yeah.
He's in the green room with a
I still
Thanksgiving
keep
inspired
waiting
drink.
for the day where all of a sudden, whoop,
Pops
Yeah.
up.
Oh, that would be hysterical.
We probably should make that happen.
That would be funny. All right, gentlemen, as always, Thanksgiving. So thanks to you, gentlemen. Cheers,
Cheers.
for another wonderful episode.
You're welcomes to you.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Yes. All right. So let's jump in. Both feet. Let's go ahead and jump into this one. So we did an episode quite some time ago where we talked about holidays in general. What's a holiday? What's not a holiday? What should be a holiday? All these ridiculous holidays. One of the holidays is Thanksgiving. Obviously, it is the fourth Thursday in November every year. And so I thought, hey, it's Thanksgiving. This episode's coming out on Thanksgiving. So we should talk about Thanksgiving. We discussed, hey, let's go around the room and talk about what we're thankful for. And we're going to do that. So please, if you've got something you're thankful for, make sure you are prepared because we're going to do that. But I did want to talk about Thanksgiving because I know at least one person on this show is a huge Thanksgiving fan. And I've gotten shit from other people because I've made the comment, Thanksgiving is nothing but a speed bump between Halloween and Christmas. It's not really a holiday. And I've been chastised for that statement. But I thought we would talk about why Thanksgiving isn't a real holiday. Or more importantly, what is Thanksgiving as a holiday? And are we even celebrating the right thing? And so I did my research. I don't know if you did, but I did want to talk about Thanksgiving as a holiday before we get into what are we thankful for. So that is the topic. I hope you're prepared. If you're not, sucks to be you.
I mean, I'm not. I'm just
Hey,
flying
I
by the
appreciate
seat of
your
my pants
honesty.
here.
That's okay. Quickly Googling mad dash for the Googles.
I will do that now.
Thank you.
Where do I stand on Thanksgiving?
On Thanksgiving. So I don't know how we want to tackle this. I do have my opinion about Thanksgiving, be it a holiday or not a holiday. Should we be celebrating it? And so I'm curious about, what the pulse of the group is.
Should we start with, I assume you did this or you know this from your research, what the history of it is?
I did do. Thank you.
I know.
Look at you.
I was just
Another
teeing
one.
you up. Teeing
God
you up.
Damn, you're
Upset
good.
spike.
Yeah. So, Thanksgiving is obviously the poor, the meek, masses. No, I'm just kidding. Coming over from England, what we were taught in school is that pilgrims came from Plymouth and landed in Plymouth. How interesting is that?
We didn't land on Plymouth Rock.
Plymouth Rock
landed on
landed
us.
Um, Yes, hoodwinked, bamboozled. That's right. So obviously pilgrims coming over to the United States and settling in Massachusetts. And then, the short version, to sum up for you, is, they came over here and, trying to survive. There was a number of issues in terms of like scurvy and famine and all of those things. And that, the indigenous people helped them to grow crops and so on and so forth. And so that first year, once that happened, there was a harvest feast after all of the crops came in and the success of those crops. And hey, nobody's going to die this year. And so they had this feast. And so then it was, hey, here's a Thanksgiving. This is in 1621, supposedly, in Massachusetts. And of course, as time goes on, then we get to, the country becomes a country. And in 1777, George Washington proclaims a national day of Thanksgiving. And obviously, as things go on, we get into the 1860s, and Abraham Lincoln comes around and says, I officially proclaim the fourth Thursday in Thanksgiving as a national day of thanks across the United States. And then
you mean the fourth day in November, right? The fourth.
What'd I say?
I was just going to let it
fourth Thursday Thursday in November.
And then the Americans quit when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor.
And so, here we are now. The fourth Thursday of November, we now celebrate Thanksgiving. And so what you learned in school was obviously the Pilgrims and the Indians, and it's that harvest feast and so on and so forth. So that is the long and short of what we believe Thanksgiving is. But as we've said on another episode, we also didn't know about Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre. So what story are we really getting when it comes to Thanksgiving? And that is part of my issue with Thanksgiving. So now that you have a little backstory, I would love somebody else to jump in and tell me what you think of Thanksgiving. Everybody,
I'm part of the jury. I'm not the jury.
Yeah, I'm not taking that bait. I feel like we're getting set up here.
Okay.
Well, I think we all know that I am a huge fan of Thanksgiving, so I will take that bait because I think you're wrong.
I'm wrong
a lot.
About
well, he hasn't said anything to be wrong about.
Oh yeah, he has.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Mac. You have come to my defense.
No.
We've been on for how long? Yes, he has.
Yeah, he has. He said at least 6 things wrong. Only one we've asked him to correct.
Mac comes to my defense. I feel like Richard Attenborough, is it Richard Attenborough in Jurassic Park? He's like, everybody's supposed to be on my side, and the only guy I've got is the blood-sucking lawyer. Thank you, Mac.
I'm not sure how to take that.
I appreciate you jumping to my aid, but go ahead, Haas. I'm wrong, please.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thanksgiving is a holiday, and it's a great holiday, and it's one of the best holidays, and it is most certainly not just a speed bump between Halloween and Christmas.
Fine, a pothole, Jesus.
Not even a pothole. For a lot of people, Thanksgiving is a very special time to spend time with family, eating good food. I mean, there's a lot of preparation that goes into it, a lot of thought that goes into it.
But
a lot of people take that whole week off to spend time preparing for it, preparing for the gathering and the people. And there in its heyday, in its prime, Thanksgiving in our family would see 2 or 3 of rotations of people coming through to eat. And so you would have, at least 2 or 3 waves or rotations of people coming in. So it was an all day affair. And then, throw in the fact that you would have enough food to have some amazing leftovers for like 2 or 3 days later. That was how many holidays carry over for like 2 or 3 days after? How awesome they are.
You hangovers count?
Yeah, I was going to say St. Patrick's Day.
Well, then for Grinch, every day is a holiday. Fuck.
Yeah, I suppose, but that's not in a good way. This isn't a good way. When you're making freaking turkey sandwiches with, stuffing and cranberries in there, and spicy mustard for like 3 days later. Yeah, that's pretty banging.
But I guess here's the question, and maybe Thor, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but no. I think maybe this is where you kind of get stuck on Thanksgiving is, why does it have to just be one day? Well, I mean, you can make a turkey any day of the year, right? Why do you have to wait till the fourth Thursday in November to
because that's what Abraham Lincoln proclaimed. That's why.
I don't know how you
because we love good old Abe. Yeah, he was. Everyone knows 16th president. He was amazing and awesome, and we love him and we honor him in his proclamation of the fourth Thursday being Thanksgiving.
There's a lot of people in the South that may may differ with your opinion of Abraham Lincoln, but okay.
Well,
I guess that's where
that's-
I go with it, right? Why do you have to wait, one day to have that celebration? And I know, you're not saying that you do, but I think that's the biggest hang up on it.
Well,
go ahead, Grinch.
I'll offer up a point that Cost has made.
Keep drinking. You're good.
uh,
Still doing this.
that Haas
Okay.
has made in other arguments, which is without a federal holiday that's like recognized and set aside, it doesn't happen. I mean, nobody puts that much effort into a meal.
Then we suck as human beings.
Well, we already know that.
Well, I don't.
There's no disputing that.
Grinch, I was kind of keeping that one in my back pocket because I know this is going to get somewhat debated at some point. But I'll go ahead and dive down that road. It's a federally recognized holiday, fellas. So it's a freaking holiday.
But what
Okay.
if I don't recognize
I mean-
the federal
No doubt.
government?
No doubt.
Then go to work,
right?
buddy,
Mhm.
and work for free. Okay. Then do that. You go to work that day and do some work. Chop chop. Get on it. Spit spot.
But here would be my issue with that very statement. We had an episode about holidays where you, like the rest of us, derided a number of holidays that were federal holidays.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
the
but those
justification
are
for those
ass.
holidays,
But they were
absolutely-
Hallmark holidays. This is not a Hallmark holiday.
and that is my other
Excuse
point.
me.
It's not a
Hallmark was done
Hallmark
around
holiday.
when President Lincoln was like, "I proclaim the fourth Thursday is Thanksgiving. Enjoy, be festive."
I'm not disputing that it's a holiday. Absolutely not disputing that it is a holiday.
He's just saying it's a
federal
bullshit
or
holiday.
otherwise. I say it's a bullshit holiday. Here,
So you rank it in there with the bullshit holidays like Valentine's Day,
Yes. Now the difference is
Easter, St. Patrick's Day.
it's clearly not marketed
Whoa,
the same
now.
way, right? It's Halloween gets
Easy
marketed.
on St. Patrick's Day.
Halloween gets
hold on.
marketed and Christmas
Halloween's
gets
not a
marketed.
hold on, but Halloween's not a bullshit holiday.
Yes, it is.
Whoa.
Well,
Whoa.
see, yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Whoa. Remember when you were on my side? I don't need you on my side anymore. You be on somebody
Wait, so hold on. So you think I want to
don't even know
defend
what
you.
to say.
You think that Thanksgiving is a bullshit holiday, but Halloween is on the up and up?
No, I would agree with that sentiment as well. It is tough to find a justifiable holiday. And this is what we talked about in our podcast episode. It is tough to find a justifiable holiday because all of those things can be done at any point in the year
It should be.
and should be, and you shouldn't need it to be federally mandated to do so. But yet, Haas and Grinch, you both said like it tends to be the case, and we get it. I'm saying it's not marketed in no way, shape, or form is Thanksgiving really marketed in any way, right? From an advertising standpoint, maybe for the
Oh.
turkey industry, and that's
I
it.
was
Like
about to say, are you
poultry,
kidding me?
that's about it.
Have you tried to get to a honey baked ham
Name me a
place between
Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving
song.
between Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Name me a
Bubba,
Thanksgiving
you won't
song.
get in the door.
Name me a Thanksgiving song. Name me advertisements geared towards things. I'm just telling simply from
We
a
have the
marketing
Charlie
standpoint.
Brown's
Come on.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you got the Charlie
Brown.
Brown Halloween, and you got the Charlie
Yeah,
Brown
so
Christmas.
right, exactly.
that's
That's my
not-
point. If
but that's
Charlie
not
Brown's
advertising.
throwing
That's
down,
not
then
marketing.
it's-
That's not advertising or marketing.
Have you
I'm
not seen the
saying-
Lexus commercials where they put the turkey on top of the car?
I missed that one. What?
And
But
you can take a
own
picture
Lexus,
with it.
so you would understand that. I don't own
So-
a Lexus. I didn't know that. I've seen them with the red bow.
No. For Thanksgiving, they'll put a turkey on top of it for you.
Is that a
So,
joke, or are you
it
being
makes it
funny?
a legitimate. It's a joke,
Okay, thank you. So let's
Hey,
move
but
past
it's sad that you
this-
had to think about that.
This
That's
right
the
here
question.
says on YouTube, there's Thanksgiving songs for children, and it's 27 minutes and 19 seconds.
Okay, and I'm just saying, did you know about that before you Googled it? No, you didn't, sir.
No.
there are particular Thanksgiving decorations, certain
Cornucopia.
wreaths, and
Was it the cornucopia?
The cornucopia,
yeah.
the illustrative turkeys, illustrated pilgrims, and I get that those things that you thought, as kids, that's what we were kind of taught. But I'm just saying, in terms of being a holiday, that's why I say it's not a legit holiday. It may be a legit meal, but it's not
a
a legit holiday.
It 100% is
And
a
explain-
legitimate holiday.
Okay, so you
Look,
compare it
hold
to
on.
what other holiday for you?
Well, I mean, it's the kissing cousin of Christmas at bare minimum, because I mean they're virtually next to each other. In the
That's
holiday,
what you're going to hang
uh,
your hat on.
I
In your
mean,
defense, it's the kissing cousin of Christmas.
I don't know. In some ways,
Okay.
in some ways, I actually think it's better than Christmas personally, because you're not obligated to run around and buy a bunch of crap and stress yourself out and spend a
But-
shit ton of money.
But
on
you
stuff that
do
people-
spend like a whole week, like you said. People
Mhm.
stress themselves out over making Thanksgiving dinner and making
Mhm.
it this perfect meal.
Some people,
You know,
though, enjoy
and-
getting in there with their family members and everybody's contributing to making this feast and sitting down together and enjoying it together. And
And I believe that those families exist
they do.
somewhere.
I live it every well, not this
Somewhere.
year or last year, but generally that is my feeling and experience with Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's the Norman Rockwell holiday, picturesque
Yes.
family. Right? That's what
100%.
everybody wants at Thanksgiving.
Well,
Yeah,
I
and
guess
we all
my
get-
issue is
we
you
all
say-
get out there and we play football and horseshoes and
we did.
badminton and we hang out. Yeah, and even at Thanksgiving, that's what we're doing. We're out there, all the kids are out there playing, running around, having a good time.
Yeah.
Why the adults talk politics and religion at the table,
And
eating
watch
another
football.
eating another piece of pie that they shouldn't be having and drinking more coffee they shouldn't be having. Yeah,
Well,
and then
But
they're
that
all
does
like in
not a holiday
food coma,
make.
asleep in front of the couch, watching either football at the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade or the Dog Kennel Show. All things that are staples around Thanksgiving because it's a fucking holiday.
I love your
And
passion.
typically-
Legitimate.
Grinch, you just got to
Passion.
mute everybody and just
And
keep
then-
going, man.
then typically 2 shitty NFL games
that take place. Look, as a kid, the only reason we cared about Thanksgiving was you got time off of school. Nobody gave a fuck about the holiday. Look, as a kid, I hated going to families because it was always, older people, older grandparents, older uncles. And it's like nobody was going to be there. It's going to be me and my brother, right? And it's like, cool, I get to hang out with you again. And it was like it wasn't like an enjoyable time. It was really like, oh, I'm getting out of school for a week or 3 or 4 days, whatever it was. And I think for most people, when you say, oh, they take off the whole week, I think they're just getting out of work anyway. Right? I mean, how hard is it to bake a fucking turkey, mash some potatoes, stir up some gravy, throw some fucking jellied cranberries in a bowl? You're not spending a whole week doing that shit. So
Not if you do it that way.
I'm just saying.
And let's be honest,
Now
we
you can
all
order
know that
from
that's not the way
Publix.
the shit happens at Thor's house.
I'm leaning Team Haas on this one. I think it in terms of it got designated as a federal holiday, but it's,
Yeah, of course.
its traditions trace back to the Egyptians, to the Greeks,
The harvest feast.
celebrating the harvest feast.
Right.
Now that was, and it's not like any American holiday. I mean, it's commercialized. It's it's a I don't know, whatever. It's a commercial milestone for sure. But I don't know. I like Thanksgiving. I think I think it is a good time for pause, and if you can get family together, it's a good excuse for it. I mean,
family and friends.
Yeah, I mean, that was typically, at least for a while, back when my mother and stepfather were still married, like that's when I saw family I rarely saw otherwise. And I looked forward to it.
And then after the week, you were like, no, thank God I get to wait another year because I'm done.
Well,
it's like
that's the way annual holidays
get-togethers
work,
generally work. You've outstayed your welcome. Yeah, you were the other proponent when we did the holiday one, because I made the comment then that Thanksgiving was just a speed bump. And I think even you were like, whoa, slow the fuck down. Like you're like,
Mhm.
I love Halloween and I love Christmas, but
Pump
we are
the
not.
brakes
Yeah, we are not going to
on your speed bump.
Yeah. And now, like, full disclosure, like this Thanksgiving, we're not even doing traditional. Like my parents are like, we're doing grilled cheeses and soup. You come over. Like it is not about the traditional Thanksgiving meal, none of that shit. And it's like, okay. Because my mom's
I'm
like,
cool
I
with
love
that.
food. So we're doing grilled cheese and Thanksgiving and a bunch of desserts. And I'm like,
But
okay.
you also live 10 minutes apart, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
As opposed to when you tend to have scattered family.
You make
the
more of
only
a
holiday.
deal.
I mean, the only holidays that tend to get people back together is a Thanksgiving and or
Christmas.
In fact,
I mean, nobody's like, let's all rally at whatever house for fucking Halloween.
For
And
Easter.
I love Halloween.
right? Exactly. But Thanksgiving, in fact, I've spent one at Fat Thor's parents' house one year when we
Yes, you
were
did.
down in Florida.
Yes, you did.
And it was an amazing time of family, friends, and fellowship, which is at the base root what Thanksgiving is about.
That's it,
Like
right?
you
And that's
said.
the point. I think it doesn't matter what you eat. It's about getting together and seeing people. Like Grinch, you said that you may not normally get to see. But, again, I mean, I guess I beg the question of why does it take us, 1 year?
Because it's humans.
Sometimes it has to be federally mandated to make
let me
it.
ask you,
Because you
let
won't
me-
do it
let me ask you-
otherwise.
And I'm okay with that, though.
Let me ask you this: why does it matter? Why does it matter?
And to Haas's point, you
it's
can
already
go
done.
work. Treat it.
It's
like
already
regular
done.
work.
It's already done. It's already completed. It's already finished. It's already
But
working and has
work.
been
That's
working.
the problem, right? Because you're cooking, you're cleaning. Thor, you've been to our house for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
It's not. We put out plates for our plates here. For Thanksgiving, so it's a big
hold on,
to do.
but that's a choice. See, that's not a mandate.
No, it's not.
There's not some like Thanksgiving
Well, let me put
doctrine
it this way.
that
It's not
dictates
my
that you
choice.
have to do that.
So
I've been there too, and I admit that my wife is also guilty of the plates having plates, multiple sets of silverware. I mean, there's every dish in the kitchen is
get the
used for
china
cooking.
out and polish it.
The cooking, starts 2 or 3 days before Thanksgiving. You're still cleaning dishes like a week later. I mean, it's absurd on how much work it can be. But to Thor's point earlier, it can be grilled cheese and soup, which sounds just as amazing to me. That sounds just as amazing to me in that setting, in a Thanksgiving setting, as it does having a turkey and all the fixings.
Well, again, going back to my family specifically, because Mac, you make the point. You can do it anytime. You can get together anytime. My family, I don't specifically, but my extended family, my mom and her sisters and my dad and uncles, they get together every week for Breakfast Club. The same group of people that get together on Thanksgiving Day, it is the exact same people, get together once a week for Breakfast Club. So they are doing it every week, sometimes more than once a week. They get together. Yes, they live in close proximity, makes it easy. But so I think Thanksgiving at this point is simply for them just another day of getting together. And the Thanksgiving aspect, the holiday aspect is irrelevant for them because it's just another day to get together, have some food and spend time together like they were going to do anyway. But instead of getting together on a Friday or Saturday, they're just doing it on that Thursday. So I definitely think it's a matter of perspective. All points are valid in terms of your approach to Thanksgiving, but whether or not it's a legit holiday.
It's a legit holiday. Stop with that. It's a legit holiday.
Thanksgiving is to holidays.
We'll get there.
As Die Hard is to Christmas movies. It's just bullshit.
Which again, everybody agrees is a Christmas
federally
movie.
Let's go ahead and
that
start
it's a movie.
that debate going for Christmas.
So this reminds me of the discussion that we had about nostalgia, because that's what a holiday or a milestone can do, is it starts to remind you of the certain things or whatever. And for the longest time, I got to where I couldn't stand Christmas. Couldn't stand it because we were the only ones that would have to get in a car and start hopping around the families, living out of a car, each day. And I was just like, I want to be at my own fucking house for a Christmas. Like I'm sick and tired. Like I love seeing everybody, but it's just annoying. And then at the end, we're the only ones having to drive 5+ hours back. Whereas everybody else is like in their own home. And that's we started to evolve when we started to do it at our own home. So we controlled how it was going to go. And it in turn became more enjoyable. It sounds like Thanksgiving seems to evoke certain things for you, Thor. But that's the way Christmas got for me. And everybody's like, how can you not like Christmas? I'm like, it's annoying as shit. I don't want to be in the car for 5 days straight,
Right. I loved Christmas as a kid, right? Who didn't? I mean, you get gifts, whatever. Then when you're an adult and you have kids, it becomes a whole different ballgame, right? It's not the same thing. Yes, you're getting to see the joy. You're getting to see the joy on the kid's face. But then they get to that point where nothing you get them, they're like, oh, that's what you got me? And you're like, excuse me? You're like, what?
And I think the Grinch's point though is if you're doing the whole running around thing with kids, it's a pain in the ass, right?
Yes.
But if you get to enjoy it and you get up, relax, have a cup of coffee, some Baileys, watch the kids open presents, relax a little bit, then Christmas is not so bad.
But Thanksgiving, it's get up, it's stick a turkey in the oven, it's got to cook for 5 fucking hours.
And here's the question I have, and maybe this could be some of the problem. Why is it a fucking Thursday? Right?
Hey, how else
let's be honest.
Getting out of work.
Why not Friday?
So you get that Friday off as well.
I'll tell you what.
That's the point, though.
But that's the beautiful part. Is because you end up getting a 4 day.
Hold on. A lot of people don't get that Friday off.
He is passionate.
Well, again, choices.
So
I can't help it. They chose a profession where they didn't get that extra day off.
Mac, do you get Friday off?
I do not get Friday off anymore. I used to, but I don't now.
So this would be my other question.
Because that's the company you're with?
The company we're with.
Yeah.
You could take a vacation day.
So Haas,
but
are you passionate about, and this is a legit question, it's not me being funny. Are you
I can
passionate
already
about
answer this for you.
Thanksgiving because of your birthday?
No, actually the opposite.
Okay. I was just curious because they
the
fall
truth-
almost
Yeah,
on top
this
of each
year,
other.
well, every 5 years it falls on it. 5 or 6 years, something like that. No, in fact, I hated Thanksgiving when I was a kid because my birthday it was obsolete. It didn't count.
Because Thanksgiving was the important.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
okay.
Thanksgiving overshadowed my birthday, so I kind of hated Thanksgiving.
Haas had the
for a
pooty
while.
face.
Yeah, I did. I was very. It was well because
Let's
we
have a
always
sleepover.
went to my.
Oh,
we
tomorrow's
couldn't. Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
right. Well, there was nobody around because everyone celebrated the holiday. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's a legitimate holiday. And so we would always taking off and going up to my grandparents' house.
No, I get that.
For like the week. So, and that's what it was all about. I mean, sure, they would blow up, they'd bring out a cake, and I'd get like the occasional gift here or there, or the occasional card here and there. But it was like literally like a thing people powered through to get back to Thanksgiving. And so, no, as a kid, I didn't really care for it. But then I began to understand the importance of how awesome it is as a holiday. I mean, here's a couple more things for you. I mean, how many holidays is it cool for you just to lay around and take a nap after eating a whole bunch of binge eating a bunch of food? You know,
look, I did that. I did that today. So
Yeah.
I know.
I don't have to wait
again,
for Thanksgiving.
and
That
again,
shit.
you shouldn't have to wait. But it's the fact that you can, like the fact that it's a holiday where that's a thing is awesome. Or how about this? How about the fact that it's a holiday this has no religious ties whatsoever? How great is that? So everybody.
The only thing I would say there is, if I'm not mistaken, the original Thanksgiving was tied to being thankful to Almighty God for completing the journey and being successful. Now, I think it's, most of us remember, you say your prayer, before the meal, but I don't necessarily connect it with with any kind of religious aspects, at least me personally. And I'm sure it's similar for 3 of the 4 of us. But at the same time, like, I'm also I haven't really delved into the notion of like how, some take issue with Thanksgiving because it paints, you probably saw the same article, Thor. It paints an overly rosy picture of what that relationship with the American Indian, or, the Native Americans was, and then what followed.
Right. Grinch, as always, you're a man among men in your ability to segue into the next topic.
Okay.
So thank you. So let's dive into that aspect. Is when the English settlers arrived here in Massachusetts, they came across an Indian tribe. And so obviously the New England indigenous tribe of that area was the Wampanoag tribe, and their chief was Massasoit. So of course you have the harvest feast. They actually have a translator there that was sold into slavery, and he was helping translate between the local Indians and the English colony or English settlers as they established their colonies. And he was one that was kind of the go-between to help, hey, we're setting up, how to create harvest and corn and all of these things. And they eventually aligned with the Wampanoag tribe, the English settlers, against the French. But here's the other aspect, and this is where I then begin to take issue as I started to kind of do more research, is in the early 1600s, 90% of the indigenous people in New England were wiped out by what was called the Indian fever. Whatever that was, if it was blankets with malaria, the things you always hear about. I don't know exactly, but it was called Indian fever, and 90% of the population was wiped out. And again, obviously it strained the relationship between the English colonists and the local tribes. And of course, as things began to unravel, war breaks out. And we know that the English settlers, Americans, have tried to systematically wipe out the indigenous people in this country. So, as things devolve, as they often do, that is part of what we don't talk about when we talk about Thanksgiving, was the systematic slaughter of indigenous people started when they landed here. And it has even gone so far as the United American Indians of New England every year on Thanksgiving since 1970 march in Plymouth against Thanksgiving. And I thought that was incredibly interesting. And it is called a National Day of Mourning, and it honors all of the Native ancestors who have lost their lives over the years based on what started right then. So, of course, we do talk about Thanksgiving and the Harvest Feast, and it was everybody coming together and, celebration. And Abraham Lincoln proclaims the fourth Thursday of November. But we have now lost sight of what has occurred. And I think it's interesting. In 1792, October 12th, 1792, they proclaimed Christopher Columbus Day. And we know that is now shifted. It is now National Indigenous Peoples Day or whatever. So how can you be okay, and I'm not saying you gentlemen, but how can you be okay shifting that in favor of the the indigenous people? And yet Thanksgiving, we're okay with saying, oh, it's the Pilgrims, and we're thankful for the Harvest
same
Feast.
Way you can be okay with Halloween and you're not a witch or a warlock in a coven in your local neighborhood.
But you, brother,
That's
are
how.
married to an American Indian.
I am married.
That's why I'm
American
interested
Indian.
to ask that question.
Well, I'm okay with it because I wasn't there handing out blankets with smallpox on them. Look, I'm not saying that I'm okay with what happened. I'm perfectly fine with talking about and understanding and educating and maybe, trying to roll some things back and adjust. And I'm okay with all that. I'm okay with making it, doing all that so we can make it an all-inclusive, progressive, safe place, safe space feeling of a holiday.
Right.
I'm all right with all that, 100%. But it's no different than people who aren't Christians celebrating Christmas, even though it revolves around Judeo-Christianity and the aligning of that and pagan holidays. It's no different than, like I said before, celebrating All Hallows Eve. You don't have to be a Christian or a pagan to celebrate and participate. It's the same thing. These are things that happened, hundreds of years ago that need to be course corrected. And I think we're finally, as a society, and we've talked about this in previous podcasts, as a society, we're finally becoming woke. And there are a lot of people who, whether they want to or not, they're going to be woke. We're going to drag them into the woke era, kicking and screaming if we have to.
Unless you're Aaron Rodgers or State Farm.
Well, yeah, because he's so much better than us.
CTT starts here. Critical Thanksgiving theory.
That's it.
To take it a step further, I'm a Washington football team fan. I was born into a family that is a fan of that team. Right. And I have zero problems with them changing the name if the Native Americans find that name offensive and hurtful. I have no problems with that. Please change it by all means. I'm not opposed to that, but it doesn't mean I'm going to stop celebrating that team or that organization.
Right. No, I just wanted to ask your opinion because I was curious about that because of other things that have been said and the fact that she has had to deal with that. So I was curious because I'll be honest, I didn't really know all of the things. Like I didn't know that they had been marching in Plymouth since 1970 in support of Native Americans. I didn't know that until I started researching that this week. And that surprised me. I was like, holy shit, why don't I know that? And I guess it comes back to the Tulsa thing. It's like we have built a holiday on this. Oh, it's all love, light, and beauty and rainbows and unicorns. And the Pilgrims came here and the indigenous people helped them. And that's what we're thankful for, the Harvest Feast. And really that was the tradition, was the Harvest Feast in Europe. When it came in, they celebrated the fact that it had come in successfully and everybody was going to eat. So that was the thing here. So it feels like, well, that's not genuine as to what the true story is. And
you're right. It may have been done in a way to cover up and to kind of change the trajectory of the historical conversation. But the irony is, if that was the case, here we are all this time later, and we're, at least now we're finally talking about this stuff.
Would Abraham Lincoln have made it a national holiday if he had known? And maybe he did. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Like it was like, hey, this was a horrible situation. Should it really be a holiday?
It might have been a political maneuver.
That's true.
That's
true.
But and I rambled a little bit, but certainly the religious focus of it initially has given way to family, friendship, camaraderie, approach.
Right.
Like I said, I've never gone into Thanksgiving viewing it as a religious celebration. I don't know. And it's not that I would have been shocked. Like, or it's not like I was shocked at the notion of that. It's just I never gave it that much thought.
Right.
Yeah, I knew we were going to say a prayer before the meal. Like that was one of the few meals, if any, that we did say a prayer before.
Did you just mumble? Did you mumble it?
Yeah, I just
Amen.
hope nobody ever asked me to do it because I was
Right.
like, oof.
It was always an elder at the table. It was always an elder.
That's right.
And you never had
Or
to
the
worry about it.
youngest,
Yeah.
right?
Never
like,
had that, though. Never had
God.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting as I did my research, learning all of that, and was like, hey, that's not what I was taught in school. I'd be curious to see what you all thought about it. So that's why.
It's also interesting. Again, probably same article you saw, Thor, you got open. Suggested many of the dishes were prepared using traditional Native American spices and cooking methods.
Yep.
And the Pilgrims had no oven, and the Mayflower sugar supply had dwindled by the fall of 1621. So the meal did not feature pies, cakes, or other desserts.
Which is a shame because that's one of my favorite things. Is
They
all
didn't
the
have any
pies.
sugar.
Look, if they'd have
mean-
had that, peace would have reigned supreme.
I'm telling you, because
Yeah.
the fact that you could only get pecan pie once a year is shameful.
That's shit-tastic.
Apparently,
thing-
you're shopping at the wrong store because
Yeah.
I can get it year round here.
The other thing is, did you know lobster, seal, and swans were on the Pilgrims menu?
Yeah, that was one of the things I saw was like, and it was, 1621, supposedly this happened, but there, I guess it had happened in other places, and recountings are slightly different in terms of like what the food was. In some places it was oyster and ham. And so it's like, it was never turkey. It was some kind of poultry, but wasn't turkey specifically. But so it is interesting how we managed to land on turkey as the formative protein for that holiday. But
I actually prefer either like a Cornish game hen or
a nice little Cornish game hen.
Yeah, or a good ham. A good
That's
ham.
like a single
too.
serving, right? Little Cornish game hen for
Yeah.
you. There you go. Look, I wanted to bust some balls because we were talking about Thanksgiving, Haas, and you have always made and I value your perspective of Thanksgiving. I know you're a family guy. I didn't grow up in the same type of family you did. I love my family, but getting together, especially with extended family, has not happened in my family. I think we've done it once in the 80s. We had like a family reunion, and beyond that, it has never been. My family's never been that way. So I value the fact.
Imagine
that
if
you
your
have
family,
that.
if your family embraced Thanksgiving as a valid holiday, they might do it every year.
I just didn't. I didn't grow up in that family.
We still haven't addressed the most important aspect of Thanksgiving.
Yes, please go.
Can we stop with the pardoning of a turkey? What the fuck is that? Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
This turkey will not be killed, and it goes to a retirement home. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Right. And then it ends up on a table.
This
somewhere.
is worth the president's time. Oh, okay.
But none of that to say that I absolutely would love to go around the room and just find out what everybody's thankful for before we close out. I definitely want to make sure we leave some time for that. So I did just want to, talk about Thanksgiving as a holiday, legit or not. Yes, I know it's a federally mandated holiday. I'm okay with that. I will take my days off of work and I will be gracious for it. And I will have my grilled cheese and soup this year and be thankful for family.
And Mac, I'll you can take PTO from my bank to use for your Friday. If
Absolutely.
You want.
I got plenty. I got plenty, brother.
I got your back, homie.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to just go around and I'd love for everybody just take as long as you want. And I'd love to know what everybody's thankful for this year. Any year, doesn't matter, if it's, but obviously I did want to save time for that because I think it's relevant. I think it's important. So anybody want to jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah. come on.
After almost a little over a year of doing this with you guys, I'm super thankful for you guys. I'm super thankful for y'all's friendship, for the brotherhood that we have, for the fact that it's organically enduring. Like it's, so some effort and work is always required in any kind of a relationship, but the fact of how natural and just easygoing this is with you guys, and the fact that we're able to still do this, and we still enjoy doing this, every week I'm appreciative and thankful for it.
It is something we carve out week in and Mac, you said this, like you have to try. I mean, it doesn't just happen. Like effort has to be put in on some level.
Yeah. I mean, you
as
and I
organic as it is.
kind of talked about this a little bit last night. When we started this whole thing, we started it at the beginning of COVID and everybody was on lockdown. It was very easy to find the time to spend, 2 hours a week, if not more, recording this. As things have kind of somewhat gotten back to normal, it becomes, you actually have to work at trying to carve out that time, because we all do. We have family, we have kids, we have wives, and that they're understanding enough that, they allow us to, I don't want to say allow us, but you know what I mean, to take this time. I forgot, Thor, how you run your house.
That's right. Exactly.
That we make the time to continue to do this. I would certainly echo Haas's sentiment. Very thankful for the three of you and all my family and friends. And I don't think that should go without being noticed. That we do continue to make the time to do this. And I don't know who sent it out earlier this week. There were a couple of pictures that kind of came out through some of the group texts of us. I'm guessing
you sent those.
Yeah.
The time lapse of Haas
in our youth. And it was good to see, that continues to carry on. And, we've managed to put up with each other for as long as we have.
Yeah, 30 years.
Yeah,
30
and you
plus.
touched on a good one. You touched on a good one. Thankful that we have spouses that understand this and are cool with it. That's also something I'm really thankful for. As well.
Yeah, 100% on that. I mean, couple things. Certainly thankful that Thor, you were the catalyst to kind of get this thing going. Because in truth, like maybe even like a year earlier, I don't think we could have done it. I just don't think the schedule, like between as much travel as I was doing and everything, it's not that we couldn't have kept it going, but I feel like it might have gotten us off to more of a rocky start that felt like we were kind of having to put more effort into doing it, as opposed to when we did. And then we found that like we actually really enjoy doing it. So it stopped. It doesn't feel like a commitment. It's one of those, you look forward to doing it. And on top of all that, I'll use the term thankful again, that we can discuss these topics with like rational, for the most part.
Do we?
Do we need to rewind to the beginning of this episode?
With minimal bleeping?
And it's just one of those. There's no it's not disingenuous. Like, we're getting along, but we're getting along because we genuinely feel this way, not because it's like, well, for the sake of decorum, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, it's fine. Well, okay. I'm not saying there aren't things that I just feel fine about and have no strong opinion, but you can be more engaged and like, and yeah, we bust each other's balls, but we don't judge and that kind of thing. And therefore, the comments are all off the cuff. It's fluid. It's fun. At the end, half the time, like, when I listen back to the podcast, I'm like, I don't even remember saying that, like that sounded really intelligent.
And it becomes fun all over again, because you're like, oh, wow, listen to me.
What do you know? I can't have an intelligent stream of consciousness.
Well, that's typically Thor's editing. Makes it sound a lot smarter.
Thank you, Thor. We're so thankful.
We're thankful for Thor's editing abilities.
Yeah. No, I didn't. And I think you said this a while back, Thor. It's like having an archive of funny conversations.
Yeah,
We got a lot
it'll
of
be
hours
fun.
of it.
It'll be fun to go back, when we're all, in our 60s, 70s, and 80s, and listen back to this for some reason. One, see, have our views changed at all?
Thanksgiving will still not be a
have
holiday.
One other thing, and this is going to sound like a shameless plug, but I'm thankful for the people that are listening to us. I mean, I know that's not the reason we, certainly not even the reason we started this. It's not the reason we do it, but I'm thankful that there's, other crazy fuckers out there that seem to find us, somewhat enjoyable to listen to.
Quite a few I know that really look forward to it every week. Like they discuss among themselves, which I think is cool.
Yeah,
That's why we do it. So I guess it's my turn. I can't say it any better than the rest of you had in terms of my approach to this show and the three of you. But I will say this. Grinch, you sent something out this week in a group text that really got me thinking. And it was not easy. It was a hard pill to swallow. And I had a rough day after going through that. And it started making me think about like the four of us, my family, life in general, and making me realize being thankful for all of the things that are important to me. And the other issue, I mean, and there was, and it was that sprinkled with guilt, for feeling like I had a right to be thankful. But at the end of the day, like, yes, week in and week out, like I look forward to this every week. Listening back to it when I edit it that's like another little piece of candy for me, that I get to eat up, because I get to hear it back, and you guys may listen to it once or twice, but and it kind of just gets ingrained. But it does make me thankful for the fact that I get together with the three of you week in and week out. We talk about dumb shit sometimes. We talk about important stuff, relevant stuff. We joke, we laugh, we push each other's buttons. But I can talk all day about being thankful for my family. The upshot there is I tell them on a regular basis. So I just wanted to tell the three of you how thankful I am for the three of you. I mean, it's been 30 years. Did I think we would be here? No. Mac, you and I lost touch for a little while, and I'm thankful that we were able to rekindle that after 2+ years. Haas, you and I have been in touch. Everybody kind of moved away. Mac went to Charlotte. Grinch went away to college. You and I, stayed in touch. Even when when I left and you went to Vegas, Grinch, you've been a tough one because you've been all over the country, all over the world, right? So staying in touch with you, I mean, that takes effort, because it's like, look, where are you going to be in the next 4 years and the 4 years after that? The fact that this happened, I mean, that was all like you said, Grinch, it was just kind of like the stars aligning. If we'd have tried it a year earlier, would it have happened? Maybe, maybe not. It was just kind of the perfect combination of ingredients, it's like the Boulevardier. It is the perfect combination of ingredients that come together at the right time in the right place. And so I did want to tell you guys how thankful I am for you and how much I appreciate you guys. And, like I said, it was a rough week in going through that and thinking about that. Yeah, I don't know. I love you guys, and I do appreciate you all being here. So thank you.
Likewise, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's
same here.
Yeah.
It's weird, and you go, "Oh, you're a grown man, and you're saying I love me." Fuck off, dude. It's like, come on, man. At the end of the day, I would do anything for you guys, and that's the long and short of it.
Yeah, you have to say it because as you mentioned, earlier this week, you never know when the last time you're ever going to get to say something like that's going to be.
Right.
So you need to make sure you say it every time you can.
And I think that's why I appreciate your approach to Thanksgiving, Haas, and your appreciation of family. Because when you don't get that chance, or when it's too late, then you're just shit out of luck, and you got to live with that. But it kind of brings your life into clarity. When you see certain things or read certain things, and you go, I think I got it bad, or I think I got it rough. I don't have it that bad. And you guys definitely make it easier. So thank you very much. Mac, you don't got to pretend. It's okay, brother.
Okay.
It's the pollen.
It's the pollen. Allergies.
I heard some when I was at the tap room Wednesday. There was a group of guys in town golfing, and they called a friend of theirs, and at the end they were like, "Love you, brother." Like, made me happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad they feel that comfortable to say that. And I mean, it wasn't like had to think about it. Like, it just came out, felt smooth, comfortable, and everything. I was like, right on.
And I don't got to be shit-faced drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, it never hurts, but
it hurts.
I mean, that's when the cuddling starts.
That's when I'm up close and I whispered in your
Big
ear.
Spoon.
That's right. Big Spoon. That's when Big Spoon comes in.
Oh God!
Have you
all? Do you all remember, if you've heard it before, or if you've ever heard it, the Dane Cook skit about a good cry?
Yes.
Mm.
Oh my God! And he's like, sometimes you just gotta have a good cry.
Yes.
Like, so you come home and you see if you're alone. You're like, hello, hello. And he's like, and then it starts.
Totally.
And then he's
legit.
like, and then inevitably you hear a noise. Huh?
And then you're back in.
It's like, and then you get that call you're not expecting. It's like,
right.
Hey, bud, I was just thinking about you, and I want you to know, I think you did your best. It's like, I did my best. It's like you stand in the mirror and you just look at yourself, and
That's
then you
right.
start saying your mantra. I did my best.
Yes. Fucking great bit.
Oh God, we were listening to him the other day, just some of his classics.
That was
I
Grinch's
miss-
way of making light of this
Yeah,
moment.
situation.
Thank you.
Yeah,
No,
I showed the picture. I just hadn't had a chance, and I was like, "This dude was my roommate. Like, it's
Yeah.
fucking crazy to
Yeah.
see him like that." But
It doesn't seem real. It seems,
No.
I don't know, surreal.
especially when there's that. I know it's him younger, but he's got a
Right.
picture of himself in that upper left. You
Right.
know,
The
the
little
image
icon. Yeah.
Man, yeah. And when you wrote like Words of God, like he's been religious for as long as I've known him. But
Yeah.
As usual, thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Thank you for bringing your perspective. Haas, love busting your balls and ruffling your feathers. I know you're a Thanksgiving guy. Grinch, I know you enjoy Thanksgiving. I just wanted to talk about it just because, like I said, I did my research and I was surprised by some of the things I had come across. And I was just curious y'all's take on it, or if it would adjust your take. And Haas, I appreciate your perspective. Like, I'm willing to have a conversation. Grinch, you've echoed that from day one on this show. It's like, look, I'm not above having a conversation about anything. So it's like, look, if we need to shift the narrative, I'll have a talk. Absolutely. Yes, Thanksgiving is a holiday. I will enjoy it. I will take my days off work and I will enjoy my grilled cheese, my soup, and my desserts. But it won't be the same without the three of you. But thank you for being here. Love you guys. And with that being said, go out to our website at aspiriteddebate.com. Fuck. At aspiriteddebate.com. Check out the drinks that we've had here, topics that we might cover. You can check out all of our past episodes. Drop us a line there, or drop us a line at spiriteddebates@gmail.com. Drink you'd like us to try, or a topic you'd like us to debate. And as always, if you do that, we will see about getting you on here if it's possible, and let you try to debate with us. So for all you mass debaters out there, as always, don't do it in the privacy of your own home. Go out there in public and mass debate at your leisure. Happy Thanksgiving. We love you all. We're glad you're listening. And remember what you're thankful for today. And we will do this again next week. So thank you.